Today's project is very simple. This is my 2011 Infiniti M56 X, and that X is pretty important for what we're discussing today. Let me pop the hood and you'll see this. So our problem today, or the whole project, is replacing the lower engine bay tray. If you can look in there, you'll notice that you can see the ground from here, right? Not very ideal because, for one, I don't like how much dust it was letting into the engine bay, and two, it's kind of crappy for aerodynamics. Made the fuel economy go down just a smidgen. Well, for a V8 with 420 horsepower, it's not something I'm really complaining about. So the problem is that this car, when I bought it, it did not come with one. They usually have a plastic one from the factory, which usually ends up sagging, like this one here. I think it started sagging a little bit, and I've gotten a replacement for it. This one here, it's not a replacement, but rather new. I went to this website, tbwperformance.com. Told Wiley. Is he? Yeah, it is Wiley. And I bought an aluminum undertray, is what they call them generally. Right now, this is a two-piece. Explain what it does. It's not like a review or anything, really. It's just a project. The front is usually in two pieces. This is it. How do I explain this? This part goes right under the bumper cover, hence the shape, right? And this part covers the bulk of the engine. There's usually another piece that goes all the way to the back, all the way, kind of protecting your joint, or rather your mating surface between the engine and the transmission. I did not buy that because this car has one, so no fuss for it. I did buy another one for the rear wheel drive one, and it's slightly different. If I can find it right now, I would show you. But, well, as it happens, I don't know where. That's it, I think. That's it. So we're about to look. Maybe. No. It's empty. The reason I even have that is someone sold it to me. Oh, there you go. Here. This is the rear wheel drive one. You'll notice it's in three pieces. This is the piece that goes, the bigger bulk of it. This one goes right under the bumper cover. Then this one here is a larger rear, the rear piece that covers the transmission. When we remove it from the all-wheel drive one, you'll be able to see it. This one looks dusty, as you can tell, or not wrapped, because it is a used piece or a used set. I bought the kit from a fellow moderator on the Nico Club. He was trading his vehicle in. This one here for the all-wheel drive, I'd already bought that myself earlier. Some, testing, benchmarking type stuff. I didn't mind paying whatever I paid for the used one because it is metal. Yeah, maybe not as shiny as these ones are, and that's why I was even dragging that across the floor, because it's metal. That's what it's going to do, so no need to be too fussy about it and polish and whatever. So without further ado, we're going to jack the car up, secure it, and then we'll go to the bottom to basically work on these things. Alright, well, good thing this one is an all-wheel drive model, so it sits a little higher already. So lifting it is not going to be too much of a problem. Let's get to that. Cool. Let's show you what I was talking about. Also, in case anyone is stumbling onto my videos for the first time, what I did was push the lift, the floor jack. There you go. And this is the spot I used right here. Right, you have this hump, you have another hump over there, but I use a center one over here. This is the rear tray I was talking about that I don't need to do in this one because I've got it, and you typically don't mess with this one that much. I usually secure my jack stands over here on this frame. This one right here, right at the corner of the plastic under tray. And then the plastic undercover is supposed to go all the way here. Well, I have to admit there's benefits to being able to see all the way up, right? In that I can inspect my stuff regularly, make sure everything looks good. By the way, problem area, watch out for that. I have a video on that somewhere. And but the benefit is also a demerit in that you can see how rusty it looks. Well, it's a car that was in Michigan, so it's a little bit of a surface rust issue, but it just exposes it that much faster or that much more. So usually you can see all these fasteners over here, these U-clips. Usually have some 10mm bolts going in there, but you can see these are missing, so I had to go ahead and source those. You have fasteners in many different areas, up here, all the way back, including this one here. I hope this one comes loose, because this is where, yeah, well, this one, I guess something's broken, so this one's not gonna work. Oh, that's great. It's broken way in there. I'm gonna have to cut that one off. This one here probably can save it. And then that's where I'm gonna install it. I mean, I guess I'll take a picture at the end or show a video at the end after installing them. But for these guys, Nissans usually, it's a metric M6 by 1.0 thread, and so that's what I want to Fastenal to buy. Make sure it was M6 by 1.0. And 25mm length is what I bought. It comes in, they come in packs of 5. I bought that. And because usually a flanged bolt, and these guys are not flanged at all, I also bought washers, and the washers are M6 washers pretty much. So what's going to happen? Well, M6 fender washers. Let me remove them. And this is what I end up with. Alright, I have to be careful every time I pull them down to not lose my washers, but you want something large and flat. As I said, from the factory they come with the factory gives you flanged bolts, but then this one here you don't need to get creative, because as you can see, the slots in this TBW under tray are pretty large. Alright, so you want this to be able to cover there. So the good thing about the part number that I bought from Fastenal is 1960. Oh, that's a year. Well, there's a part number right there, 213-8566. The good thing about that is that the bolt head is still a 10mm, so that works wonderfully. Usually these are kind of standard things, but so I can use my 10mm tool, no problem. That's it. It's a pretty simple process at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap that, and wrap the TBW trays and install them. Let me set this camera up. Maybe you'll be able to pick something up. Who knows? I also need to mention that the TBW under tray, well, they give you a little sticker. I don't know where you'd use it, but it usually comes with 2 access doors. This is for the oil drain plug. This is for the oil filter. Pretty nice, but as I've said, I'm the kind of guy that likes to remove everything so that I can inspect the bottom of it. But it's a pretty decently made unit. It feels like it. Nice thickness. Pretty stiff. So yeah, I would recommend it for sure. I think it serves a purpose. Instead of spending half the cost of this aluminum tray on a plastic piece that would get damaged again, might as well buy that. I can't guarantee that it's going to give you any extra protection from heavy damage, you know, something that could damage your oil pan, maybe rocks, you know. It just depends on what kind of incident you gotten yourself into. But yeah, so that's it. For now, I'm going to go ahead and get a Dremel, because remember, I need to cut that piece out. And the good thing about this is that if you have any missing fasteners, the thing is not just going to sag and fall on you, right? Because you've got so many, it's stiff and it kind of holds itself up. So that's it for now. Stop video recording and Dremel that out, then maybe I can show myself installing this thing. I hate to admit this, but I've broken 2 or 3 safety rules. 1, I was working with that angle grinder without gloves. And 2, it did not have a guard, but please don't judge me on that. And also, on that point about gloves, yeah, you probably want to use gloves because this thing is brand new and it's got some sharp corners. I can feel them and I'm aware of them, but just a fair warning, like I like to give for all my videos. It's more of a do as I say, not do as I do type deal. So otherwise, I'm ready to do this, and I'm gonna set the camera to keep recording whatever it can catch. Okay, attempt number 1 has failed. I'm gonna take it out. I'll drive just like I've been driving for the past, few months with no undercover. It's not the worst thing that's happened to the car. Initial impressions, a little too much fighting and squeezing and trying to make things work for the price I paid, but maybe my opinion is going to change. I know this is one of the most recent ones I bought. It might have been the last one in stock, by the way. I'm not sure. I don't know if they play any better with the V6 models, but this is what I have. As I said, you can tell that they try to make allowances with the slotted, with all the slots and stuff, but still, I was only able to get like 4 for secure, partly because, well, no, actually just only 2 were fully inserted. I was experiencing a little bit of cross-threading just because of how I was cocking the bolt versus where the slot was located. But again, so this is gonna have to be it for today. It's a little too cold to be doing this. It's like 20 degrees out here, and man, I've come a long way just to not be able to do anything below 40 degrees. But so that's it for now. I guess it's an attempt, but I'm gonna have to put it all down, and I'll come back later when it's a little warmer to finish up the project. Finally, the TBW under tray has been installed. Let's go into here and see. This is it. Zoom out a little bit. It's on there. And I bet it's firm. I mean, it does feel solid. And it does help. A little bit of rattle here. There's so many screws and it's pretty rigid enough, so I wasn't gonna do too much. Though some places I had to just kind of let go because there was just too much forcing. And of course, I also had accidents where the plastic where the clip attaches to, some of those spots were torn. But I'm trying to find this socket. I'm trying to find my power tool so you can see the convenience of this thing. 10 millimeters. And that's it. You can see the oil filter in there. Might be, yeah, it's probably not as free as it was, but you know, you can maybe get a tool in there and do what you need to do. This is I call this a quick change. It's a quick change or quick service type of under tray. To do it the right way. By the way, that's what you have there. So dig those teeth in. Swing it. And get your 10 millimeter. This is an easy one because this is the oil filter up front. The tougher one is this one back here. The alignment is pretty good for what it is. So this is the drain plug. Here it is, right? I think it's going to work pretty well. You notice that when I removed it, all I had was one bolt. This is the reason right here. See this one is pretty accessible, but this other one here comes into contact with the undercarriage, with the subframe, sorry. So whenever you drive let me find the bolt again. So if you drove this bolt in there, you can even get enough grip. Watch what happens. See that? Yeah. So you either be comfortable with deflecting the shield or get comfortable with drilling a hole into your subframe. Hint, don't do that. That's the worst idea. So let me put this one back on again, as I said. Let's look at it one more time, just see what kind of clearance you get. Pretty tight on this side too, by the way. Okay, so what's my verdict? It's nice and hard and rigid, but it's, man, I hate to sound too negative. I'm not knocking this man's work, but it's way too much work for the amount of money that I spent on it. That's what I wanted to say. My intention is to come up with a different design, something that will be a little more integrated, something that doesn't need too much massaging to make work. And two, I need to find a way to make this a little easier to remove, maybe. I really don't know how, how it's all gonna shake out. But I need to be able to access my belts and all that. This is definitely good for quick oil change, but installing this thing took me really, really long. Part of it is, in all honesty, as you can see, there's a little bit of rust, so the car had inherent issues, but I struggled way too long, way too much for and it's a quality, I mean, has potential to be a really, really good product, The material thickness, material quality is there. And I said that I did mention that I had bought a used set from somebody else for my rear wheel drive vehicle. I just I'm not very pleased with this one, So as I said, it has potential to be, a gift that you give to your grandkids. I'm kidding, but there you go. That's the one I bought for the rear wheel drive. So we'll see. For now, I'm just gonna leave it on, and if I don't sell the car, whether sell it or not, I might take it down again, just because it will be such a headache for the next person to do anything under there. Okay, let's put this away and get to driving. Winter's here, so I'm glad I'm protecting it to some level, to some degree. I'd like to give credit to where it's due. So, you know what else is cool about this TBW design? It still allows me to use a factory lift point up front over there with my floor jack. So, there you go. No contact, everything works just fine.